Will Benson has his first hit of the season. It's a double down the right field line, and that is going to be the end of the day for Lance McCullers Jr. 8 batters in, 5 runs in, and responsible for the 2 runners on. It's a tough second outing for Lance McCullers as 7 of the 8 batters reach. Joe Espada will have a long bullpen day in front of him tonight as Lance will leave after a third of an inning.
An interesting weekend for the Houston Astros. They take 2 or 3 from the Cincinnati Reds. They win 3-0 on Friday. They win 6-0 yesterday. Ronel Blanco looks great on Mother's Day. Hunter Brown looks really good Friday night. But in a 13-9 loss to the Cincinnati Reds on Saturday, Lance McCullers threw just a third of an inning of work. He allowed 7 earned runs, 3 hits, 3 walks, an early exit, and allegedly a smattering of boos at Dyken Park. Lance hasn't pitched since 2022. I understand that there's a lot of people frustrated with the contract that the Houston Astros gave him, a contract that still has him set to earn over the next 2 years over $35 million. I get frustration about it. Perhaps I get annoyance about Lance being more of a pom-pom guy with all the things that he says than an actual contributor, given the injuries that he's had, over which I do not think he has that much control. But after seeing that awful start by Lance McCullers on Saturday, which I thought was going to lead to a conversation of, do the Astros try to pull a Jose Abreu with him? Do they try to pull a Rafael Montero with him? Instead, we're talking about something else entirely after Joe Espada opened up his post-game press conference with this.
Unfortunate that Lance McCullers, that there are people who are threatening his life and the life of his kids because of his performance. It's very unfortunate that we have to deal with this. After all he's done for this city, for this team, the fact that we have to talk about that in my office, I got kids too, and it really drives me nuts that we have to deal with this. Very sad. Very, very sad. All right, let's go. I'm not going to comment on anything. I just needed to get that on my chest, okay?
How many times did Espada bang the table there? Sorry to make it light immediately. How many times did he bang the table? That's the most I think I've ever heard Joe Espada bang a table during one answer. But he's pissed. I think justifiably so for his player. And I've said this often. I think it's weird the way that many people that are Astros fans look at Lance McCullers. Here's more from Joe Espada in this press conference talking about, hey, this guy hasn't pitched in a while. Cut him a little bit of slack.
Listen, he hasn't pitched in 2.5 years. 2.5 years. You know, we got to give some time, right? 2.5 years, hasn't pitched. So it's going to take a little bit of time to get him going. And it's fine. But this can't happen. I'm really upset that this happened to athletes, and, you know, we trying our best. Everybody's trying our best, right? But the fact that I got to go in my office and deal with this, you know, come on. We're better than that. We are better than this.
7 bangs that time around by Espada. Are we better than this? Are we? I don't think we are on the internet. I really don't. I think we're worse at times. I think internet discussions range from trolling, the darkest sense of humor, to actual a-holes online who send you a death threat or two. I've received them before. Not fun. a little amusing because you don't take him seriously, but that's because I have a dark sense of humor. And I don't think that I'm in the majority when it comes to you get something. Do you feel concerned? Someone finding my address was a little bit crazy. I didn't like that. That had me a little worried. But I don't think we're better than this. I really don't. I wish we were. We're talking about a start in May. I mean, what a loser you have to be to get mad at McCullers to the point of you're going to go in his DMs, you're going to threaten his kids. You're going to threaten him. And I also think that if you are one of these people that goes on the internet under an anonymous account and you're saying things that you definitely wouldn't say to this person's face, especially without your actual name on it, I think you're a meow. And you read between the lines on what word I'd actually would say in that spot. Anyway, here's what Lance McCullers had to say. This is not the first thing that he brought up at his post-game availability. He was actually asked about it and what Joe Espada had to say about it before he started talking about it.
It's been a tough evening. I understand people are very passionate and people love the Astros and love sports, but threatening to find my kids and murder them is a little bit tough to deal with. So, just as a father, I think there have been many threats over the years aimed at me mostly, and I think actually one or two people have, from other issues around baseball actually had to go to jail for things like that. But I think bringing kids into the to the equation, threatening to find them or next time they see us in public, they're gonna stab my kids to death. Things like that is tough to hear as a dad.
I think just as a human being too. I hate that he felt the need to be somewhat understanding in that answer. And I don't know if that's in his mind. He's trying to show that he's above being affected by this stuff. But I hate that he was even semi-understanding of those people. These are the kind of people that, I wish that Lance McCullers had the ability. And who knows if he would hit it because the arm wasn't really working as well as it needed to on Saturday. But I do kind of wish that he would just get to throw a baseball past somebody, put them in their tracks a little bit, if not accidentally plunk them. Let's go for the shoulder, for the fleshy part of the thigh, just to be classy there. But I heard real emotion in his voice, and I hate for him that he started off that answer saying, like, I understand that there's, passion for the sport. F that, man. These people are dicks. They suck. They're losers, and they're cowards. F them. That's simple. It sucks that we have a small amount of this fan base that does this. It's every fan base in sports. It's sad, pathetic, lame. I feel bad for Lance, even though he's struggling out there. I mean, that's your reaction? Good God. Psychopath.
That's big of you, Paul.
Thank you.
Do you think this is too much despite the way he's pitching?
Jeez, Sean. I disavow what was said in the messages. I know a lot of people aren't going to have that take.
Yeah,
I
mean,
a lot of Astros fans
only got one out, so
you're the worst.
But it is too far.
It's so far.
Blair Henley didn't have to deal with this.
Well,
he had to deal with
Joe.
Just
don't have to deal with Joe George
taking shots at him,
driving him over with a bus, and then going back and return over it. Anyway, more from Lance McCullers, who, again, way too understanding here. This is what bothers me. I feel bad for him. I think we all should feel a little bad for him. It's a rough start. He's trying to get back out there. You think he's trying to suck? He's not. He's a competitive guy. And now all of a sudden, in this answer that he's giving about, like, apparently the person who messaged him threatened to stab his children to death, which is so messed up. And here he is, once again, trying to be semi-understanding.
Phil on a very large stage, a lot of eyes, and there's nowhere to hide. So, at the end of the day, I just want to do my job. I just want to be a good pitcher for the Astros, and I believe I'll get there. But like I said, I just think that having to worry about that, worry about leaving town and leaving them and things like that, or dropping her off at school. I just think those things should there should be some type of decency.
Yeah, I agree with that. He stunk on Saturday. We all know it. He knows it. Stinking to the point for a May baseball game against the effing Reds, who are just completely inconsequential in the grand scheme of things with the Astros, is just such loser behavior. And I know we're seeing some of the same kind of responses that I expected from the 409. Name the last time an athlete or athlete's family was injured from one of these threats. Grow up. Lance is a good dude, but let's calm down. The fact that it happens at all is sad and pathetic. Or are we really just going to let it slide because, no one's ever been hurt before? It only takes one, right? And look, I get that we have freedom of speech in our country that should not be infringed thanks to the Constitution. But you're doing stuff like this and there's no consequences for it at all because you did it anonymously under some sort of account or because you wrote a letter by mail that was anonymous. Like we're going back to the days of Jackie Robinson. Like it's pathetic. It's not about is Lance in danger. It's not about that. But he's allowed to be a human being and pissed off that this actually happened. Another text in here. Paul, don't fall for the I got death threats deflection. Sorry, I'm believing the guy. I'm not going to act like I know Lance very well, but I mean, we used to do hour-long radio hits with this guy in studio when I was over at the Texans flagship. And he always struck me as a pretty upfront, honest person. And he was telling us things about the 2017 World Series against the Dodgers that before everything came to light, we were like, oh, interesting. And that had more to do with what the Dodgers might have been doing. So, look, he stunk on Saturday, but does stinking on Saturday justify any of this behavior? And why is it that this behavior even happens at all? I think if you're an anonymous person online, you are a coward and soft. I really do. I think you should have to go by your name. I get that you don't have to, and there's memes and things like that. Whatever. Okay, fine. Lawyer yourself into a corner. Or lawyer yourself into freedom and just keep on pointing to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and all that stuff. But I think it's pathetic that this stuff happens. And even though Lance has stunk, come on. Who is this ever worth it for? Who is this ever justified for?